Making a good seedbed takes a bit of work, but it's worth it. In a well-made seedbed, almost all of the seeds germinate, and the seedlings are all the same size. This way, when you transplant the seedlings, you start out with a healthy crop, which will be more able to resist pests and diseases. Farmers who are used to planting poor quality vegetable seeds often plant too many seeds the first time they use good seeds. This is a problem because there will be too many seedlings, which will grow too tall and thin and risk breaking when they're transplanted. In this video, we'll learn how to make a chili seedbed that will give you strong, healthy seedlings. A good seedbed starts with quality seed. Use seeds of disease-resistant crop varieties. Ask your extensionist which varieties to use, or consult a seed dealer you trust. Let us see what Rita Nabadi from Grand Popo in southern Benin does to keep insects from eating the seeds in her seedbed. When we take ash, we sift it and remove all the dirt so that it's the fine ash that we use. We mix the ash with the seeds before sowing. When we spread the ash in the seeding rows, insects will no longer eat the seeds. The smell of the ash chases away insects. If you have a small plot on which you want to grow chilies, you may buy seeding trays in the agro dealer shop. These trays can be reused. For larger fields, it makes more sense to sow chili seeds in a seedbed. As seedlings need a lot of water, make the seedbed near a source of water. Transplanting will be less work if the seedbed is near the plot where you will transplant the seedlings. Properly clear the site where you will make the seedbed, as Philippe Hussou explains. By stirring the soil, we remove all kinds of roots that are in the soil, because we do not know if they're a source of parasites. Make the seedbed 1 meter wide, so you can tend the seedlings without stepping onto the seedbed. You can make the seedbed as long as you want. Level the seedbed to avoid the rainwater washing away the seeds. On sloping land, shorter seedbeds are better to reduce rainwater runoff. Water the seedbed well before sowing. Philippe adds a layer of chicken manure to his poor sandy soil before tracing the sowing lines. You can also use compost, cow dung, or other sources of manure, like Martin Susu from Kome does. I use the droppings of bats because when you apply them to the seeds, it promotes a good germination and the young seedlings will be very strong thanks to the nutrients it contains. Also, the manure of bats does not increase the weeds in your seedbed. Cow dung, on the other hand, can contain weed seed and may bother the seeds you've planted. This is why we search for the droppings of bats. On the seedbed, make shallow furrows with a stick. Furrows are parallel to the short side of the seedbed, and they're about 15 centimeters apart. Place a few seeds in each furrow. If you use good seed, almost every seed will grow, so be sure to leave enough space between each seed. Avoid using too much seed, as you'll end up with too many seedlings that will grow too tall, thin and weak. Most vegetable seeds are small and therefore need to be planted near the surface. Sprinkle fine earth over the seeds to cover them. Water again after sowing. Cover the seedbed with straw or palm leaves so the soil will remain moist. Also, strong rains or irrigation water will not be able to cause erosion and displace the seeds. If you know that there are termites where you want to plant, it's better not to put the straw directly on the ground, so that termites do not damage your nursery. Water the seedbed twice a day. About 8 days later, the chili seedlings emerge. Carefully remove the mulch to avoid accidentally uprooting the seedlings. To gradually enable the seedlings to cope with the hot sun, Martin makes a shelter. Every week he removes a few palm leaves so that by the time of transplanting, the seedlings are strong enough. In the rainy season, you can transplant chili seedlings if they are 2 to 3 weeks old. As seedlings suffer more during the dry season, transplant them when they're about 4 weeks old. Now that we've seen how to install a seedbed, let's see what other measures to take. To make the seedlings strong, Philippe makes small furrows in between the rows of seedlings. Once a week he adds chicken manure to those small furrows. This way he avoids having the manure touching the seedlings because fresh chicken manure may burn the seedlings. In case your crop previously had problems with nematodes or diseases, there are several ways to clean the soil. Most methods rely on heat to kill the germs. You can burn dried crop residues on your seedbed, or use an even more efficient way, as shown by Basil Agbagli from Grand Popo.
We prepare
the seedbed and then put a barrel on a fire. In the barrel we do a mixture of sand and manure. We let the mixture heat up on the fire for a while and then spread it on the seedbed, and we water it before sowing. Stir the soil from time to time so that the heat gets through all the soil and kills the germs. The soil must get very hot until it's too hot to touch. Put a layer of hot soil on top of the seedbed. The soil underneath will also get heated and become free of any germs. After about half an hour, check if the soil underneath has cooled down a bit. Irrigate the seedbed before tracing and sowing, so the heat will not kill the chili seeds. To avoid the seeds sticking together, Basil mixes the seeds in a bowl with an equal quantity of sieved sand. During sowing, he separates any seeds that stick together, so that every single seed has sufficient space to develop into a vigorous seedling. Close the seedling lines with a small layer of sterilised soil and manure. Apart from germs, other creatures can also destroy your seedlings. Protect the seedlings from pests and animals, caterpillars, grasshoppers, chickens and goats who'd love to nibble away your seedbed. Inspect the seedbed at least once a day. Because seedbeds are small, insects can sometimes be removed by hand. The most effective way to protect your seedlings day and night is by putting a net over your seedbed. Make sure it's properly closed to avoid any intruders. So what have we learned? To make a seedbed, select a site where you have access to water. Use quality seeds. Make the seedbed 1 meter wide to have easy access to the seedlings. Make furrows about every 15 centimeters. Do not sow too many seeds too close together, or the seedlings will be too tall and weak, and they'll break easily when transplanted. Protect the seedbed from the hot sun and hard rains by covering it with straw, palm leaves or other mulch. Protect the seedlings from pests and animals by putting an insect net over your seedbed. Transplant the seedlings at the right stage. Strong and healthy seedlings are the best start for a healthy and productive crop.